And us as musicians, you know, if somebody want to keep their personal life away from the business, we respect that. It's not a problem.
So personal, his family say that he even kept his secrets from those closest to him, such as his two brothers, who were first arrested with Castro, but then released without charge.
I keep hearing people say, how did these brothers not know that their brother was doing this? Don't you visit your brother's home? I mean, he was a bachelor, so he lived alone. He probably made a lot of excuses. You know, oh, the house is a mess. Oh, I don't have anything in my refrigerator. You know, I'm sure that's probably how he kept people away from the home.
And we've been hearing that Ariel actually went out on some of the searches and took part in some of the vigils.
Right.
Why would you think he would do something like that, knowing that he was the person that had Gina?
The only thing that I can possibly assume is that perhaps he wanted to kind of have an inside track. Did they suspect something? Could they possibly know something? I have no way of knowing what went on in the mind of a person who is such a monster that he could look that mother in the face and ask her how she was and how she was doing. I don't understand how he did any of what he did, but how do you look at that family and pretend like nothing is wrong and pretend like you're caring for them? That is so chilling.
What were conditions like for Amanda, Gina and Michelle all those years? 2207 Seymour Avenue seems pretty ordinary. 4 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a basement, no air conditioning. Details are starting to emerge of what happened inside.
For the 3 women and young child who are trapped here, the house is both a prison and a torture chamber. This 3D model shows that it's always dark, with windows boarded up or covered. Inside there are 3 floors and a basement. Castro lives on the ground floor. He locks all the rooms upstairs and locks the basement. And it's the basement where he first brings the women. It's small, dark and damp, with a low ceiling. He chains them to the wall.
Really hurts me to know what she had to go through for the last 10 or 12 years. It was a living hell. They was chained to the walls to the basement.
Castro appears to treat the women differently, with Michelle Knight getting the worst punishment. The police assert that she was raped repeatedly and became pregnant several times. But every pregnancy was miscarried when Castro punched her in the stomach.
It just really hurts me to think that he had turned around and beaten her in the stomach just to have her miscarriage so she couldn't have his kids.
So have you thought about what Ariel Castro wanted Michelle for?
Well, I think that he wanted her as a sex slave to do whatever he wanted her to do.
That must make you angry.
Yes, it does. It makes me very angry to know that a human being would do something like that to another human. She was, I guess, terrified for all their lives what he might do to them. So I guess that's why, in a way, that she had went along with what he said. Them two and her lived through living hell in that house.
According to police and according to police reports, the house was kind of described as a prisoner of war camp. We were told that duct tape was used when Castro left the house for any length of time. He would duct tape their mouth. We know now that the outside front door was padlocked shut. We know that the bedroom doors were padlocked. We know that they were chained in the basement for some period of time, both from the ceiling and from the wall. We know that they were starved. We know that they were punched and beaten.
They were really scared. They were scared of him. To them, he was a monster. And that's a monster they didn't want to deal with. So, whatever he said, they did, you know? And that's the horrible thing about that I see, that he had him out once in the garage. You know, I know he's got a big gate, and he's got him, but scream. All three of you scream on top of your lungs. Too scared to scream, too terrified to scream. He manipulated them, you know, in such a way that he had full control over 3 women in the house.
And while Gina De Jesus is locked up in the house, her father is visiting the neighbours just across the street.
Gina's father, yeah, he came around a few times, and I remember him coming over and talking. One time I talked to him, and I was telling him how sorry I felt. That girl was like 40 feet away from him, and nobody knew nothing. You know?
And they made a big hole back over here down the block, and looking for remains of them girls. And
Amanda.
I remember sitting with Ariel, talking about that, how a person could do, you know, take these girls, and he would say, what, you know, what kind of a person would do that? And all the time it was him, and he had them girls up there.
You know what he did? He went and got the tape they put, the scene crime tape. He helped the police put up, I seen that with my own eyes, put up the crime scene tape around the street so people won't go over there. You know, when Gina De Jesus come up missing, he gave money so to her father or something. He made a donation so they could keep searching for her, and he had her all the time.
As days become weeks, and then months and years in that tiny dark space, the women probably lose track of time. They live on a diet of fast food brought to them by their kidnapper.
But the girls down the street commented that they would see him with a big bags of McDonald's early in the morning. He ate McDonald's for 10 years.
In later years, Castro allows them to live in separate rooms on the first floor, where slits were found cut into the doors, as if to allow food to be slid in and out. It appears the women come outside only twice during their decade in captivity. Wearing disguises, they take a short walk in the yard. Ricky Sanchez knew Castro for many years and went inside the house just days before the women escaped.
When was the last time you came to the house?
Last time I came here, it was the last Thursday before it happened.
So that was the second?
The second.
And why did you go over?
I came here because we become friends on Facebook, and he saw a bass guitar that I had it for sale, and he liked it pretty much, and he wants me to come here and show it to him. So then I spent about 2 hours in the house. A young girl came. She showed up from the back, and he approached her. He grabbed her by the arm, and she asked her to say hi to me. I said hi to her, but she never said hi to me. And then he said that was his granddaughter.
Was there anything else that you kind of noticed when you were in the house?
There was some type of like noises that I hear. I don't really know exactly where the noises came from, and I asked him, "What is these noises coming from?" And he said that he had some dogs in the second level of the house, second floor.
Knowing what you know now, knowing what you might have heard, what those noises might have been, how does that make you feel?
When I heard the news at first, they came out on Monday, I couldn't even believe.